Okay, so good afternoon. My name is Joel Rojas, and today I'm going to be showing the results of an update made in the status of Trachemyd turtles on Hispaniola. First, let's talk about Emydidae. Emydidae is one of the largest family of freshwater turtles that can be found in North, Central, and South America, as well as the Caribbean and other two. Uh, and in Europe, you can find two genus of this family. This family has over 50 species that are included within 10 genera. Trachemys, which is one of the genus that we can find in this family, has over 15 species, all native to the Americas. But how do we know what is a Trachemyd turtle? Well, a Trachemyd turtle adult may show a rugose notch and serrate posteriorly carapace. Sometimes they may come with a nail. A relatively large blood strand is also present in these species, and in some of them, the males may show longer nails and tails, and also show some signs of melanism. So, what is the background that we have of these turtles in the literature? The description of Trachemyd turtles can be found and their characteristics and diagnosis in Citizen Ernst in both 2012 and 2017. About the taxonomy of Trachemyd turtles in the Caribbean, we have the early registers by Barber and Carr in 1940, and some taxonomical notes, as well as how the transition between Pseudemis, Chrysemis, and Trachemys was done throughout the years by Settle and Smith in 1986 and Settle by 1988. Uwe and Havas also worked very well in the taxonomy of this group, and Farham, uh, with other collaborators, work as well in the phylogeny and taxonomy of this group using mitochondrial and nuclear DNA. About the Hispaniola and Trachemyd taxonomy, Settle and Chelsea made the first status of these turtles here on the island. And in the Natural History Park in Chelsea in 1976 made a monography about the two local species of Trachemyd turtles that we can find over here. In the conservation part, Powell made several works throughout the years about the conservation status of these species. So which was our goal? Our goal was to gather available information on the distribution, ecological aspects, and conservation status of the genus at the island. For this, we review past and current literature, as well as historical records and online and physical museum collections. Citizen science platforms such as iNaturalist were also used, and field service data was also consulted for this. In the conservation status part, we reviewed the IUCN website, the Dominican Republic's red list of endangered and protected species, both from 2011 and 2018, and current work being done in this area. And these are all results. So we can find here at Hispaniola 3 species of Trachemyd turtles: Trachemys decorata, Trachemys senegalivicina, and Trachemys scripta elegans. Trachemys decorata, which is in the vulnerable state, we can find it in Dominican Republic and Haiti. Is a geographical range, is endemic to the island, and we can find in the Caribbean. And as you can see in the synonyms, you can see the changes over the years from Pseudemis to Chrysemis and now to Trachemys. Trachemys senegalivicina is another species of endemic turtles in the island. You can find it in the Dominican Republic and Haiti, and it's in the near threatened status. And we have the exotic invasive Trachemys scripta elegans. As you may know, this species is distributed worldwide and is an invasive species in most places. Its natural distribution is represented in the south central United States from the Mississippi Valley to Illinois to the Gulf of Mexico. And it has been introduced in several countries worldwide. Here in the Caribbean, it is registered in 2 years, its introduction, and in the Dominican Republic, it was first introduced into occurrence in the 1960s, and the first reported nesting was in 2005. So what do we know about the ecology of this group? Well, there's little ecological information available right now. There's only one work made by Henderson and Powell in 1999 that talks about the ecology of this group in the island. but their main ecological features are similar to other Trachemyd species found in near islands like Jamaica, in this work by Tuberby, Bulbani, and Borjok and Bua. The general information about the Hispaniolan species can be found by Schwartz and Henderson in 1991 and Henderson and Powell in 2009, as well as file surveys and camera traps. And in the Dominican Republic, as you saw before, Sixto Inchauste and Miranda make a very good work with the natural history of this book and also in the ecology part. In the distribution, we can find that Trachemyd secorata is known as the Hispaniolan South Paleo Island slider, and Stenegeri vicina is called as well the Hispaniola North Paleo Island slider. Around 10,000 years ago, the island was divided into two paleo islands and they got united. So here in the island, there is a pattern that were in several taxonomic groups where you can find two species, one that is represented in the North Paleo Island and the other one represented in the South Paleo Island. And Trachemyd turtles are not the exceptions for this. And in the population part, there is no published data by the moment. In the courtship part, we can see that they have a titillation process where the male individual goes in front of the female and start waving the waters with their nails. And this courtship pattern is similar to the description of other Trachemyd turtles. And there is also a sexual dimorphism where the males are smaller than females. In the mating has been observed between January, February, and August in captivity. In the natural environment, we don't have records right now of the mating season, but in the native status, we can see that the nesting season goes from April to July of each year. And the hatchlings may have a size of 30 to 40 millimeters in the carapace and 26 to 39 millimeters in the plastron. In the clutch, we can see that Trachemyd secorata has around 6 to 18 eggs by Inchauste in 1976 and 6 to 8 eggs by Schwartz and Henderson in 1991. Pablo Felix in recent years has found that the size is around 25 to 45 millimeters. And Trachemyd stenegeri vicina has a size around the same amount so the both local species have like the same size in the clutch. And melanism has been documented and is very common in Trachemyd stenegeri vicina. It has not been documented by this moment in Trachemyd secorata, and Trachemyd scripta elegans in some records have melanism. So here's the current distribution pattern of these species in the island. As you can see, Trachemyd secorata is found mostly in the southern parts of the Dominican Republic, which is this eastern part, and in Haiti, mostly in the central and southern parts of the country. Trachemyd stenegeri vicina can be found in the northern and eastern parts of the Dominican Republic, as you can see, and it has a wider distribution than the other sliders that we can find in the island. And Trachemyd scripta elegans has been introduced mostly in the eastern part of the Dominican Republic, but we know that it has a wider distribution in captivity. And we can find also a non-feral distribution site in the capital of the Dominican Republic, where you can see over here. So where we can find these turtles? We can find it in ponds around the island, wetlands, and lagoons and lakes. The ponds that you are seeing in the screen are from the eastern part of the Dominican Republic in Bahia. The wetlands can be found in any part of the island, as you can see here, one of Santiago. And lagoons and lakes can be found in some parts of the island, as you can see here, one from Laguna de Bávaro and Laguna de Oviedo. And the conservation status, we have seen that globally, it has been classified as vulnerable from 1996 to right now the work that is being done in 2020. And in the national list of the Dominican Republic, we can see that it has gone from vulnerable to endangered in a space of only 7 years. Trachemyd stenegeri vicina has been treated as lower risk, near threatened from 1996, and also in the current work that is in process in 2020. And in the national list of the Dominican Republic, we see that it's in the vulnerable state. Trachemyd scripta elegans is least concerned since the 1996. As we can see here, the threats that we can find on these species are mostly habitat destruction and climate change and nest and hatchling predators. In the habitat destruction and climate change, we see that here in the pictures, we can see Laguna El Rincón. Laguna El Rincón actually right now passed from a severe drought very recently, like a month ago. Right now it has a more water since it passed a storm Isaias, through the island, but it caused a severe impact in the populations of Trachemy secorata. We suspect that maybe we have lost probably hundreds of individuals in this process. But as well, in other parts of the island, the habitat destruction and climate change may have a severe impact in these populations. About the predators that we can find in the nest and hatchling, we can see that mongoose is one of the most threats as it is an introduced species in this environment. First, in the nest comes the mongoose. They dig and they take the eggs, and then comes feral cats from local people in the community and also take eggs of these nests. We can also find rats and unidentified herons in these nets. Okay. In the hunting process also affects these populations. Most hunting happens during nesting season and is done by funnel traps that are called here nasas. Also, people use trained dogs to catch nestling females. And there is also a subsistence illegal hunting happening in the whole island. And these huntings are sold in illegal local markets that are throughout the country. And finally, we can see competition being done by the introduced species, Trachemys scripta elegans, and possible hybridization with local species. The only known hybrid that we have over here is the hybrid between the two local species, Trachemys secorata and Trachemys vicina. It has been documented from 1976 up to the work that worked entirely on the hybridization process on these turtles in 2013 by Parham and their collaborators. What is the current work that we're doing here in the island? Well, in Haiti side, Jeffrey Paul is working with the current populations of Trachemyd turtles, specifically Trachemys secorata, in Haiti's side of the island. In the southern part of the Dominican Republic, we have Pablo Felix working in the nesting process of Trachemys secorata as well. In the capital of the Dominican Republic, myself, I'm working with the hybridization process in this non-feral distribution site where you can find the 3 species of turtles here in the island. And Joana Cabrera is working in the population structure of Trachemys vicina in the eastern part of the Dominican Republic, in Laguna de Bávaro. And in the whole island, there is also the current work being done about the conservation status of these species in the island. So what is being done right now as well? In the legislation part, there are 2 laws that protect these turtles. There is the General Environmental Law and the Biodiversity Law in the Dominican Republic. And these species also are found included in some protected areas in the island. Trachemys secorata can be found in Laguna de Cabral Wildlife Sanctuary and in 2 national parks, Lago Enriquillo and Jaragua. Trachemys vicina can be found in 3 national parks, Humedales de los Ama, Los Haitises, and Montecristi, and in the Wildlife Sanctuary of Laguna de Bávaro. And so what are the conservation actions that we think are needed in order to protect these species? Well, we need more research in the population and ecological status, potential impact of climate change, genetic studies of potential hybrids, and natural genetic variability in the native population, exit the conservation programs to establish assurance colonies, removal programs of Trachemyd vicina from wild and easy to escape, and citizen education on the negative impact to release turtles of pet turtles, because that's a common practice here in the island to release pet turtles into the wild, and they can cause a severe impact in the genetic stability and also in the population stability of these turtles. We would like to acknowledge Janet Mateo for reviewing this work, as well as Jeffrey Paul, who gave us information about Haiti side of information, as well as TSA and IUCN for the invitation to present this. And these are the credits for the photos. This is the literature that we have reviewed throughout this work. And if you would like to contact me or Susan Chelsea, here are my contacts and my social media. So thank you very much. And let's see if there is any questions. Yes, there are several questions being done. Okay. Look for the first one. So the first one is from Cameras and says, what is the salinity of some of these wetland habitats? Can they handle more saline environments? Well, in Laguna de Cabral and Laguna de Oviedo, where you can find it in the southern parts, the salinity is very high. Right now, I don't have the number, but it can go approximately from 75 to 80 parts per 100. So they can be found in very saline environments here in the island, as well as others that are not that saline. So we have the question number 2 is Joel, with recent deaths of Trachemy secorata in Laguna Rincon, do you think the status of should be elevated to endangered in the IUCN red list or the national list of the Dominican Republic? Well, we will need to make population assessment in order to increase or decrease the status of the status in the conservation part. We will need to see if the population was severely impacted, because that is, and I didn't say that in the presentation, I'm sorry, but this is the only, probably the only natural and like pure population of Trachemy secorata that we have in Dominican Republic side. So yes, we will need to verify the population status right now in order to verify if they, if the status can be elevated to any other location, like danger or clearly endangered. Jura Valali says, hi Joel, thank you for the great talk. I love hearing about your work. In your opinion, how significant is the threat of illegal hunting to the turtle populations? That's a very good question. Actually, here in the Dominican Republic side, the problem is there, but it has not. It's not that big as in, for example, Haiti side. But we also have the problem of not only illegal hunting for selling them, but we have also the practice for magical or religious practice that people think that they're aphrodisiacs in order to use them for virility or to cure even coronavirus. In the recent days, we have a news that the blood of turtles cure coronavirus, and one person injected them and it was taken into the OR. So yes, there is a threat of illegal hunting, and I think it can be big, but we need to make more studies about the real impact of illegal hunting in these populations. And I don't know if there are more questions. Okay, so we think that's it. So thank you very much for everyone to listen to this conference, and I'm gonna give the microphone to the next person.